Ladies and gentlemen on the line, Mama Boo.
I grew up in Athens Park area. My elementary school was Mark Twain, and I went to Vanguard Middle School and graduated from Centennial.
Okay.
So you could say LA. Well, the address is LA, but went to school in Compton.
Now, give everybody kind of an idea of what your upbringing was like.
My mother was on drugs from the time I can remember till I would say within the last 4 years or so, 4 or 5 years or so since she stopped. My dad was in the pen majority of my life. He got out when I was about 11, got murdered when I was 12. So basically, I was just really one of them baby kids. Couldn't read, couldn't write up the part. So I was a disruptive kid that just always loved to fight because I wanted to challenge the energy off of what I couldn't do and to show and prove what I could do. So that was basically my upbringing with a mother on drugs, but she wasn't a streetwalker or nothing like that. So I don't want people to think like, it was a revolving door with people coming in and out of my mom's house. It wasn't like that. But the hand-me-downs, the open the freezer and it's only bread in the freezer, I went through all that.
Now, let me ask you, when did you start to get intrigued by the street life?
I would say middle school. Because middle school, I was more aware of what was going on. I mean, it was more so shown to me, examples of different little kids that live in different neighborhoods coming to school, starting to gang bang. So I knew the difference. Middle school, however, saying like ninth grade of high school is when it was just like I was all in with it. So we'll say beginning of high school.
Okay. And I remember you saying in one of your interviews that before seventh grade at Vanguard, you really didn't know too much about gangs and what was going on, but Vanguard was kind of like your big introduction into that.
Yes, it was. Like I was just saying, different kids living in different other neighborhoods coming to school and start banging different sets. So that's how I got introduced to it, by learning what you should say and what you shouldn't say. Like, how kids know how to diss each other's set and they get to saying it. Mm-hmm. So I kind of learned about it from one day in particular. I had dissed another set from someone. We all kids. We all like in the 8th grade. And me and the boy had a physical fight. And I whooped his ass though. But we had a physical fight about that. And I kind of learned that day, like certain things you can't say. So that was more the introductions of gangbanging and what comes with it on small scales in middle school, just more fighting.
Okay. And around 8th grade, you started officially claiming Athens. Can you kind of take me back to, your what was going on in your head back then, mentally, just so you know what was going on in life and everything?
I would say I grew up in Athens, so everybody within my complex and the kids that I've been going to school with since elementary that I was able to go outside and play with, whether they was in the apartments or, along the perimeters of the apartments, they was claiming Athens, and especially the older ones. So I started to say it too as of what I would call monkey see, monkey do. So it started like that. And then by the time I got into high school, and now we're dealing with 12th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, it's like, okay, this shit is more serious than that. So what I would say what was going on in my head, it was a game to me then. It was fun. I was good at what I done. I could fight good, even though I was a girl. So it was fun to me then. So I can only just speak on it as far as it wasn't a game, like I'm in my mind thinking this is a game to play, but looking back at it, that's where I was kind of at. Like, it was fun. I didn't know the seriousness of it other than just physical fighting.
Now, let me ask you, numbers-wise, it's obviously more common for boys, men to join gangs. What do you think the number one reason is why women join gangs?
I don't know about why women join gangs. I can tell you why I did. I joined because I was angry that my dad got murdered. So I was willing to inflict pain on others within that neighborhood of where it happened at. So that's why I joined. The biggest reason is because of my daddy getting killed.
Gotcha. Now, what are some of the things that you do differently, because you had a child at a young age, 19? That's considered
20.
20. Okay. What are some of the things that you did differently as a parent to to keep your kid away, or your children away from what you went through?
I did everything different. My mom was not a supporter. I could think of teacher parent conference that she didn't even come to it, and she actually lived across the street from the schools. So I would just say I was completely different. I've been involved with my daughter since day one up there at the school, popping up, just coming to bring cookies or just coming to say hi. So everything was different. When she started middle school and got into sports, I was very much involved. I actually was like the assistant coach for her eighth grade year at Vanguard, same school I went to. So my whole mindset was different. It was one of those things where I didn't want her to not be able to read and write like I could, because I know that that's where all my dysfunction and disruption stemmed from. So I just stayed on my kids with what they wanted to do, and anything that they wanted to do, I supported. On top of, I made sure, now this is just one of those things, y'all gonna laugh at me, but I don't care. But I made sure that my kids was fly every day, like nothing but Jordans on their feet. But my thing with because I remember my daughter's godmama wanted her to be a cheerleader as a little girl. And I'm like, hell no, she's not going to be nowhere shaking her ass. She going to go read a book. So that's where I was at with that. And her godmama was like, no, don't worry about it. I'll pay for it. Money is not the problem. She can't shake her ass. So it was just certain things that I was just all in their business way more than my mom. My mom wasn't in my business. She was in a room or something, doing what she was doing, but she wasn't worried about what I was doing. So my thing was to support my kids, be present with everything. On top of, I didn't want them to wear hand-me-downs because I did throughout all the way through high school. I say about ninth, going into 10th grade is when I started making my own money, started buying my own clothes. But we're talking about a little kid from elementary all the way to high school that wore hand-me-downs. So that was the reason I was disruptive, because if you bag on me, I'm just going to fight. So yeah. I was totally different than my mom. Totally different.
Okay. Now, when it comes to certain things, what are some of the benefits, if any, of a female gangster over a male gangster? When it comes to committing crime or anything like that.
Wait, say it again.
What are like some of the benefits? And I hate using that word, but that's the best word I can think of. What are some of the benefits or advantages, is probably a better word, a female gangster has over a male gangster when it comes to crime and things like that?
Only thing that just pops in my mind, that if a female have a child, then maybe the judge may find leniency because she's a mother. Other than that, there's no advantages that I can think of, because females go through, I would say, worse than men when it comes to that, because you have to worry about gang rape and all this old different other type of stuff, men giving you drugs. Men don't be gang. Men are more than likely not going to be slipped a different drug opposed to what she's already on, if she's even ever on drugs. So it's no benefit.
So weed, you sold crack. What are some of the hardships of doing that in a male-dominated world?
The hardship is you just continuously proving yourself. I mean, pertaining to a man, if a man were to be doing the same exact thing that a female is doing, once he get into one or two fights with one of the guys or whatever, then, his dominance is kind of established. When the female is from the beginning almost all the way to the end, that you're still trying to prove that you are who you are based on you're just a female. They look at it like you're a female, you're not a male. You'll never be as hard as we are. When on some real shit, it's a whole lot of more females in all these neighborhoods that's harder than these niggas. They just don't get the credit because they are female.
Yeah.
So that's what I say about that.
Makes a lot of sense. Before we go any further, I want to promote this a few times throughout the show. Tell everybody the name of your nonprofit organization.
My nonprofit is Live Your Life, which is geared to mentoring and counseling teen and young women at risk.
I love that. And what made you start it?
I started that because I started to do some more soul searching. I say within like 3 years ago, I just kind of like stopped my world working for people and all that comes with that. And I just really started reflecting on who I am. How did I get here? how hard it was to get here and the trials and tribulations I went through to even be able to talk to y'all like this. You get what I'm saying? 'Cause we're talking about a young girl that couldn't read and write. I shouldn't be able to be fluent in my conversation like this, but I made changes in my life. So I wanted to be to a young girl or to a young me who I needed. And it starts at home. So for my community, this is home.
What's your ultimate goal or goals with Live Your Life?
Is to change the dynamics of how they think, how majority young girls think that is the way to make it. They more than likely, well, I wouldn't say more than likely, it depends on their upbringing, but they think it's about the body or how you look or how you can connive a man or whatever the case may be. But majority of the mindset is dealing with a man in this whole little thought process, when you can take that man out there and be who you are. Be educated yourself.
Man.
Send yourself to college, you know what I mean? Or go to the military. It shouldn't even have anything to do with a man. And everything right now, it is all around a man. I mean, yeah, we need y'all. I wouldn't even be one of them type of females be like, I don't need no nigga. I mean,
I know what you mean, but you need to be.
You know what I mean? Like, if we was meant for each other. Like, we was meant. Like, that's the reason that God created Adam and Eve for each other to reproduce was the main goal.
Yep.
So, yeah, we need you guys just like you guys need us. Mm-hmm. But I don't need you to make my future. Mm-hmm. I need me for that. So my whole thing is to give them a different spin of thinking. You know what I mean? Like, you are powerful in who you are. To encourage. That's my whole thing, for it to be who I needed in a real way. Because I needed somebody to just sit me down and tell me something. And really too much and nobody did.
You know you gave me goosebumps, right?
Oh, well, ask me something else, deep. I'll go again.
You know, I just want to ask you a few general questions, and I would love your opinion on it. But what do you think the number one what do you think the number one problem in the inner city community is today?
Lack of love.
Break it down.
Lack of love, which go hand in hand with lack of support, and it's taught in the household. And the only example that I can really think of right now, like, you have different, okay, say for example, you have a family of 5. You know what I'm saying? One mom, and then she got 4 kids. Maybe all of them got different dads, or maybe none of them had different dads. Maybe they're all got the same dad, but it starts with nitpicking with these fucking parents with these kids. They don't like this kid because his hair too nappy. They don't like this kid because you act like your daddy. You don't like this one because he act like his daddy, or whatever the case may be. So what you're doing is you're creating turmoil at a young age with these little babies to not like each other in the house. How the fuck you gonna think they gonna act when they get out there in the street? They ain't gonna like them motherfuckers either. Yep. So you're starting it in the house with these babies. You treat this baby nicer, and it be all stemmed again majority of the time from the dad. I don't like the dad, or I don't like this kid dad's side of the family, or whatever case it may be. You basically have pics of kids of who you like and who you don't like, whether they cousins. You know, it don't have to just be a mother and the kids under the roof. It can be all with the cousins, all that. And people have pics of who they like and who they don't like. What about that kid that's not liked? I was that kid that was not liked. I have 2 grandmas, which both of them rest in peace. My grandma on my dad's side didn't claim me for whatever reason. She never fucked with me, ever. My grandma on my mama's side, I seen her every Sunday. She didn't like me. And it was clear she didn't like me. And we're talking about a little baby, about 4 or 5 years old, and asking my mama, why granny don't like me? You know what I'm saying? So who am I to run to when something go haywire? My mama's not there for him because she's on drugs. My daddy was the only one that told me he loved me every time I talked to him. Now he gone. I got real issues right now. And a lot of this shit stemmed in the family. You get what I'm saying? No difference than my daddy passed away. I'm 12. My mama never talked to me about that. We have never had a conversation about how do I feel, what am I going through with my daddy leaving. It was, okay, we went to the funeral and you just go do you. We're not even going to talk about it. Of course, I'm not going to really talk to you about it because I'm a kid and we don't talk anyway. But at any point, do you feel like, let me will my baby in and feel what my baby feeling and tell my baby it's going to be all right? Little things like that could stop other issues. And motherfuckers not paying attention to that.
Man.
No difference than things that stems in the house. You got uncles and different other people, brothers, whoever. Most young girls that get molested is from a family member.
Yep.
Them are the closest people. Most people don't even allow leave strangers with their kids. You get what I'm saying? It be the close people. But then y'all don't never do nothing about this and y'all sweep it under the rug and she still got to sit at Thanksgiving with this uncle. And you don't think that's causing conflict and then you tripping when she's 15, 16, she cussing everybody out in the family, very disrespectful. Who protected her? So like I say, a lot of reasons for why people are doing what they're doing is stemmed in the fucking house and now just spilling into the street.
How did getting pregnant change your life?
Well, for me, I've always had a brain, and God has always guided me, even though I was horrible at times. But my mindset was just, I didn't want nothing to happen to my baby. And I always felt that it's not going to happen to me, it's going to happen to my baby. So I just kind of backpedaled up out the street a little bit. And that was the real thought, that it's not going to happen to me, it's going to happen to my baby.
Mama,
and that's all that drove it.
That's facts. Yeah, that's instinct just kicked in.
Because I've always been one that would never fight a female if she was pregnant. If you had your kids right there, I'm not going to even go there. Even if you're going there, I'm going to tell you, when you drop that baby, bitch, I'm going to beat you up. And I've done that. But fighting one when they're pregnant, oh, you got all passes all day because that baby haven't done nothing to me.
Respect.
You get what I'm saying? So when I got pregnant, I'm like, let me back the fuck up because everybody don't think like me. And something had been happening to my baby.
Yeah. Definitely give you much props for that. A lot of people don't know when to stop, including men, unfortunately.
True. True.
Your child's father was about 23 years older than you, if my math serves me correct.
I think it's 22.
Okay. Talk to me.
I'm sitting here up in my head like, I think it's 22.
What? Talk to the girls out there, because I do, or I have ran across a lot of women in my life who were in similar situations. But what do you think made you get into that relationship?
Honestly, like I've said before, that young girls, when they have tragic situations like their dad is not there, or dad get murdered, or dad is in the pen, you're kind of searching for that father figure. So I think that had a lot to do with why I got with someone so much older than me. Because even with my other little one or two boyfriends prior to him, they were all older than me. So I would just think looking for a father figure, really. And that stems with the lack of men being in a daughter's life. Now, we could flip the coin and talk about the men, the fathers. Yep. But in saying with getting in a relationship with an older man, it worked for me. I will say the only reason I would say it worked for me, because I really, really believe had I not got pregnant and was pregnant by him, an older, mature man that was more like, get your ass out the street with your little badass and sit down somewhere. If it wasn't a mature man like that, there's no telling where I would be at right now.
Interesting. That makes sense.
So with one mindset, I say I really appreciate my baby's dad, because he pulled me out the street and I have 3 kids by him. So I appreciate that, because there's no telling what the hell I would have been doing, because I was like turned all the way up to the max, just on some real bull crap. But, you know, on that flip side of the coin, it worked out for me, where I was pulled out the street, sat down, had kids, and within that time frame, I was able to reflect a little bit and then put myself through school. You get what I'm saying? I didn't have to worry about baby daddy, baby mama drama, third party in the business. I didn't have to worry about none of that.
Good.
Now, who he is today with his kids, yeah, that's something different. That's a whole different story.
Man, as someone who grew up without a father, he's in my life now, you know, after when I was an adult. But I'm a stress to you men out there, you young kids listening to my show. It's so important to stay in your child's life. It's
very important.
It's if anything, it's to me personally, that's the number one issue is men not being around. I had to learn to throw a football from my friend. I had to learn to tie a tie from my friends. Like, I had to learn all the bad shit from my friends. So just listen to what Mama Boo's saying, because man, you really need to get your shit together. I'm gonna just put it like that because we got too many of us bouncing.
Yeah, it's too many of the dads that just don't want to be active in their children's life. Those are the ones that I'm talking about, the ones that don't want to be active. Them are like just bum ass niggas. I don't care what you own, what you do, what for a living. I don't care if you're on purpose and you know that you're able to be in your kids' life whenever you want to, and you choose not to. Y'all the scum of the fucking earth. Now, on the flip side, now you women need to start taking these men through all these changes to see their kids. This is one of my biggest pet peeve with this shit. A woman, when you get out of a relationship or whatever the case may be, and you bring in the next guy into your life, which is in the life of the kids because the kids is with you. But when the baby daddy get a new girlfriend, it's an issue. Look, let me tell y'all something. Just like y'all would not let nothing or nobody else do anything to harm your kid, not 98% of the time, it's the same way with him when that baby with him. It's not like the bitch is gonna drop your baby on his head, okay? Just like that nigga you fucking with just ain't gonna drop that baby on his head. So stop acting like, oh, you got a new girl and I don't trust her, I don't know her. Calm down. Calm down. The father is not gonna let her do nothing to that baby. You need to understand who you made it with. You don't dictate 100% of that baby, only 50%.
Yeah. Let me flip it a little bit. And if you could put a number on it, because I've asked a lot of people this question, they just don't have a number. But if you could put a number on it, how many people have you lost in the gang life, be it murder, prison, etc.?
I can't even put a number on it.
Damn, that's a cold.
I can't put a number on it because when I think about it, I can think of my neighborhood, and then I got to start thinking about outside my neighborhood of neighborhoods I used to go and hang at, and it's a lot over there. It's a lot over there. I don't know. I don't know.
And I expected that answer, unfortunately. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But do you think the average gang member, former gangbanger, suffers from PTSD?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Have you ever had any experiences like with sleepless nights and shit like that?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So yes.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, I felt that grandma shit you were talking about earlier, because about grandma not or disowning you or whatnot, because the same shit happened to me. My father's black, mom's white. Mom got disowned when she found out mom let a black dude up inside of her. And yeah, for the first years of my life, my grandmother didn't show me love. And like even up until her death, when we hugged and shit, it was just weird. It was like, when somebody gives you like a weird hug, they love you, right? But they give you kind of a weird hug where it just doesn't come all the way in. I'm a hugger. I like to come all the way in, you know what I'm saying? And
you can feel it.
Yeah, like pat you on the back and shit. It was just always like that. Shout out to her, rest in peace. But no, I really felt that grandma shit. I just had to tell you.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it affects you. You know what I mean? I can think back to when I was in middle school and my homegirls or the little girls I used to be with, be like, I can't wait till this weekend I go to my granny house and da-da-da-da. I don't got that. On either side of the fence. There's not no grandpa around here either. My mom, dad passed. You get what I'm saying? My dad, I've never met. So I don't have no grandparents. None. Even when they was alive, they wasn't messing with me. But what people don't take a step back and think, how you think that little person gonna grow up? What are they gonna turn out to be? And if you care about them, if this is your family, take a step back and then see what's going on and help, support. Uncle shouldn't still be sitting at the damn dinner table every Thanksgiving and he didn't violate these girls in his family.
Man.
He should not be sitting there, because what you teaching these little babies is that don't nobody give a fuck about me. Why should I? And then they start acting like that. But when they start acting like that, everybody mad at them. Everybody mad. Oh, she ditching school. She over here running around with these little boys. She fighting. She doing this. She doing this. Was she doing that before she got molested? No, she was a regular child. Oh, it's been since then? Oh, okay. And did none of y'all support, help, fight for her or nothing? Oh, okay. We gonna blame her. Nah, blame yourself. Mamas and grandmas, blame yourself.
Jeez.
It's not her fault. Blame yourself. Because I know a few of them.
Me too. I think yeah.
Blame yourself. Get that baby some help. Blame yourself. Because you had all opportunity. You are a parent. You're the parent in the situation. That's a child. Do your job. Do your job. And get this baby some fucking help. And then get that man away from her. He violated her. How are we even trying to even understand why Uncle is still walking around? First off. But if we go to second, then don't walk around her.
Yeah.
So until they stop that, it's going to be a lot of these young girls that just turning out just way crazy than what they originally should have turned out.
I would love to know a little bit more about how females, and for my audience, the laymen's and all that, how it is with women getting either jumped in or sexed in. Does that even exist? Like we've all heard that, you know.
That exists. Okay. I didn't go through neither one of those channels. However, I was one of the females that was not fucking on the homeboys. And I still got that same reputation to this day. You talk to the right motherfuckers, they'd be like, hell no, her ass was mean and stingy. So I wasn't on no sex. I wasn't sexting with the homies or nothing like that. I was like, boy, you know, like only if somebody would have seen me back, if I was acting like that back then, now, then you would swear up and down I was a dyke or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I carried myself so much like a boy, but I've never been with women or nothing like that. I don't even, none of that. But I was just so tomboyish. You get what I'm saying? To where I don't know about that getting sexed in, jumped in. I didn't do that either.
Okay. It exists though, the sexting thing?
I've never seen it. I've heard about it.
Yeah, that's all. I've only heard of it. I've never, talked to anyone.
Yeah, I've never was present or nothing like that, but I've heard.
Okay. Let me ask you, what are the...
But one thing about that, let me say this.
Please.
One thing about getting sexed in, you are not official. And I said it. Mama Boo said it. If niggas ran a train on you and put you on the set, you are not officially on the motherfucking set. From a female like me, I would have never respected you. And the ones that I did know about around that time, I never respected them, never claimed them as a homegirl, none of that. So let's be clear about that. That is not an official way. That's a fuck way. Okay, go ahead.
There it is. I love it. It's so awesome.
I mean, I might have to think about it, like, there ain't nobody. You know what I mean? When it all come to it, you really not. You didn't get jumped in or you didn't do 187 to get in. So you're not official.
Okay.
Those, no. So,
Okay. Well, you were around in the 90s. You obviously remember how crazy it was, even for a civilian like myself. It was just on fire. The streets were crazy. But it seems like LA is kind of headed back in that direction. And just gangs are going at it. Violent crime is through the roof. And it's starting to feel reminiscent of the 90s. In your opinion, what can we do to stop this or slow it down?
That's hard because there's so many demon forces out here on top of everything now.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? There's so many, I can't even spit it out. The drugs that they're using is a whole nother thing. Like, it's a whole nother thing. You get what I'm saying? So you're dealing with a motherfucker that is emotional all the time for nothing. You know, these niggas out here running around emotional as fuck, emotional and high as fuck. You say one little, you can bag on a nigga, and the motherfucker be like, really? Yeah, it's like, it's too much. Y'all too fucking emotional. Leave these little pills or whatever it is alone. But back to your question, I don't know. Because you have to think about it. It's not too many of the OGs, like triple OGs, that really just want to step up and try and change their mindsets no more, because they have their own families. They got their own grandsons. They got their own granddaughters. You get what I'm saying? That they trying to protect and be here for. No difference than certified females. We got our own family. You get what I'm saying? That we don't want to really get out there in the trenches because it's kind of for nothing. Because first off, y'all can't even fucking fight. Now I'm not going to be arguing with somebody that I feel like, let's get down. And you feel like, oh, I don't fight. Now I got to be worried about you. So my thing is, I got the babies. You get what I'm saying? Leave me the fuck alone. I got the babies over here. I need to stop some of these young girls from growing up thinking that this is what it is. The in crowd is really not the in crowd. The in crowd is really the out crowd. Be your own person.
That's a shirt.
Be your own person. Because I can think of all the ones that was in high school that was popping in high school. Speaking for like talking about the females, they not popping. So stop all this fucking on these niggas. Because they telling. And your credibility, your worth to them is going lower and lower and lower. And it's not cute. It is not cute to be on social media twerking. It's not cute. Whoever told y'all that lied to y'all. They lied to y'all. But they want y'all to see that like that. That's why they showing all these other celebrities just getting millions and millions of dollars, and they in Popeyes, McDonald's, and all this old stuff, and y'all aspiring to be there. But guess what? A lot of y'all gonna be in a casket or gonna be in jail, gonna have 7 goddamn kids with only one nigga that fucks with a kid. They're not telling y'all that part of it. Slow down. Slow down. Be you. And who you are is not violent and all that. Like, nah. That's monkey see, monkey do. I want to be like that too.
Love it. I have one more question for you before we tell everybody once again where they can find you and all that. But I like to ask all my guests this to end the show, and take yourself to hypothetical world. Hypothetical question now. If you could talk to 9th grade Mama Boo, what would you tell her?
Oh my God, what would I tell her? I would tell her, first off, sit your ass down. I gotta tell you something. Because 9th grade Mama Boo, I can't just talk to her regular. Like, she is not listening. And I don't mean to get off track, but that's like real. Like, these kids, you can't talk to them regular. Like, come here so I can speak with you. I don't like what you just did. That's not going to work. Call them out their name. Of course, that's not going to work, because don't nobody want to be insulted, or don't nobody want to be talked to like that. But you have to be stern with them. Let them know that you're not playing, but they'll feel it on your spirit. But I would tell Mama Boo, come here, sit your little ass down. That rapping and all them books of them songs that you have, stay focused on that.
Rapping? Mama Boo was, wait.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Mama Boo was
But anyway,
flowing.
back to me
Go
talking
ahead,
to,
we'll talk about that another time.
But I would tell her to stay focused on that. And that's about it. I'd tell her to stay focused on that and her sports.
Yeah, because you did play sports at once too, right? But then
and I was good.
Then marijuana kind of got involved.
Yeah. And I just stopped going to practice. Yeah. People think like, oh, I'm not tripping on my kids just smoking weed. No, big. I'm telling y'all, look, 98% of the time it leads to something else. It leads to something else. I had stern people around me that was just like, you don't fuck with your product, to re-up, you flip it and you get more and more and more. You don't use your own supply. That's the only reason, because I listened to certain things that I'm not on drugs. You get what I'm saying? What will stop me from being on drugs? My mama was on drugs. My daddy wasn't around. My grandma didn't have love from them. What would have stopped me from being on drugs? Only thing, myself. So stop allowing these kids smoke weed and you think like it's cool. Okay, when they go to a party and they want to try something else, or weed just ain't it no more and they try something else. Most motherfucking crackheads at the store, they start out with minor shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I would tell me to be who I am and stop being so aggressive and stop fighting everybody. Everybody is not worth being fought just because I'm having a bad day. I don't know. You know what? To be honest, I wouldn't have been able to talk to Boo Boo one time. There's no way.
You would not have.
I would not have been able. Nah. That would have been That would have been someone that I was able to call and talk to when I needed to. No, that would have been something long term. And with these babies out here, it's long term. I can't talk to one in one day and she changed her whole mindset. No, I cannot take the bullshit out your head in one sitting that's been put in your head these 15, 16 years. I have to talk to you. You have to really break down and open up and let me in. And when nobody gonna get that far up in like that with me 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 10 times. I'm still looking at you like you about on my nerves now. But you got to keep going at it. You got to keep being there for that little girl.
Man.
So yeah, I would have needed some time for me to really listen. Yeah, but you got to be consistent.
Consistency is the key. Don't just think you sit down with them once or twice and it's going to change shit. No, you're right. It's going to take some time, especially.
It's going to take some time because when they leave from you and everything you said, they got to go right back to their regular environment.
Right.
You have to change their mindset of how they see it and how they see themselves. Do you want to be here? Do you really want to be here? Really take a look at what's going on. And that takes time for them to actually see what you're saying.
The movement is Live Your Life. You can find her.
Yes, it is.
You can find her on YouTube. Mama Boo Boo. That's 2 words. I'm going to spell it out for everybody. I like to do that because that's how I work in my head. MOMA space BOOBOO on YouTube. She's also on Instagram at Mama Boo 132. That's MOMABOO 132 on IG. Mama Boo, this was one of my favorite conversations in a long time. It's a great way to end the year. I thank you. You gave me goosebumps probably 3 or 4 times, and that rarely happens.
That's what's sad.
Man, where if there's anywhere else people can find you, please let them know. And once again, promote your movement, Live Your Life.
Well, you gave both handles, so we working with that. IG, MOMABOO132. YouTube, as he said, Mama Boo Boo, MOMABOOBOO, as well as I pass food out every Saturday between 1 and 3 p.m. You need to go to my IG and you will be able to see where I'm at. So not only is it that I mentor the girls at risk every Sunday, every Saturday I have food give out. With hygiene products some of the time, but majority of the time is fruits, vegetables, everything, meat. I mean, it'd be so much stuff. People talk about I should open a grocery store, but this is all for the community. So come get it if you're local.
Thank you for tuning in to Dusty Vision TV. Please hit that like button if you have not already. And if this is your first time joining the channel and you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, you just might appreciate this bonus clip I'm about to play for you right now. Los Padrinos. It's a juvenile hall center in Downey, California. Popular. It's been around as long as I can remember. A bunch of officers were accused, and it's looking like they were guilty of setting up fights between young inmates, gladiator style, betting on the fights. And these are kids we're talking about. These aren't adults, meaning the ones who are fighting. Before we break this story down, what are your general thoughts when you read about that?
Oh, it just took me back to Juvenile Hall. I've been to all of them. Los Padrinos, we call it LP, Fillmore, Central, back and forth between all 3 of them regularly. Getting kicked out of one for fighting, go to the other one, get kicked out of that one for fighting, go to the other one, get kicked out of that one. I mean, it's just an everyday thing, right, as a juvenile delinquent, you know? So, I mean, and it don't stop in Juvenile Hall. We had the gladiator fights in Camp Gonzales, you know, on and popping. My first fight was set up by other kids who were in good with the staff, and they had a particular day and time where they'd give you a pass in school to come back to the dorm, and everybody that's getting down that day is already there. Line it up. Let's go. Run it. Staff right there like, you know, hey, yeah, that boy got hands. That might get you an extra bag of cookies or a job. You know, they like your squabble game and you know nonsense. Staff would take a liking to that. You know what I mean? And that was one of the ways you earned favor. You know, it was a lifestyle.
So this has been going on probably for a very long time, is what you would think?
And this has been going on since the inception of incarceration. This is part of this is what goes on. This is what happens. You know, sometimes you can be dehumanized to the status of an animal, you know.
Damn.
And they feel like when they open that cage, If you really want to get at that other animal, then do your stuff. You know? So it's not like it's all the way down to the age of children. You know, I was in juvenile hall at 13 having gladiator fights, 14 years old. You know, this is all the way from juvenile hall to the county jail to prison at every level. It's not always staff betting on it, but they'll let it happen. If it needs to happen, they're going to get it out the way. You know? And then you got some staff that's not with that. You know, you got some officers, probation officers, some correctional officers, they're not with that at all. You know, and you got some that are. Then you got some that's with the real extreme of it, which will, you know, you will see betting and that sort of thing. And at its worst is what happened in Corcoran back in the 90s, where not only were they betting on the fight, but they were killing people, shooting them from the tower in the midst of the fight. This is not like this is a known thing. This has been in California anyway. This has already been put to the courts.
What do you think should happen to these officers who are sworn in to protect our kids, but instead they're setting up gladiator fights?
I mean, you should be charged with child abuse. This is something that I talked about in Words I Never Got Spoken. That whole book of poetry was about how I remember juvenile hall, the child abuse that goes on in juvenile hall. You know, adults putting their hands on children, setting up fights between children, depriving children of bedding, of clothing, of food. You know, sometimes the attitude can be, oh, you want to be grown? You want to act like, you know, you in real prison? Well, we'll treat you like you in real prison. We'll put hands on you. We'll lock you up. Ain't no way a child should be locked in a room with no toilet or sink in it for 24 hours, 48 hours, where you got to bam on the door, kick the door down just to get them to come check on you so you can use the restroom. If you was doing something like that on the streets, man, you would go to jail. But in jail, they say it's part of jail. Imagine that.
Reintroduce yourself, my man.
What up with your man? Your boy Jazzo the Juggernaut, man. I come from Southgate, you know what I'm saying, California, LA. And shit, we out here just enjoying a good 2-day weekend of like some real hip-hop, culture, just everything, you feel me? The vibes is great. My man's is out here putting in the work, man. We all just out here networking and doing what just need to be done, man. Culture live, you feel me?
Yeah, you said Southgate, man.
Yeah, I'm from Southgate.
Yeah, that was my neck of the woods. You remember the Garfield swap meet?
Come on, man.
That's where I got all my tapes at, dog. Mr. Kim, shout out Mr. Kim, R.I.P., man.
Remember Southgate had the drive-in too?
Dog,
right
of course, man. Dude, right there. So they have a new one in Paramount now. They ended up moving it to Paramount. Yeah, it was a Paramount Drive-In. I was just there. I watched Bad Boys 4 there last night, homie. I was in Paramount. But Southgate has a special place in my heart because I live right there off Imperial myself. I literally could throw a rock to the swap meet right there, man. Southgate.
You know what I'm saying? Born in Linwood, St. Francis.
Linwood, yeah, right there.
Raised in Southgate. Just out here grinding, man. You know what I'm saying? Doing this for the West Coast, basically. You feel me? Not being like nobody, just being me and giving my, you know what I'm saying, giving my input into the hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? I grew up listening to hip hop. My mom was into like salsa music and like other stuff. You feel me? Because I'm half Guatemalan. So
nice.
You feel me? I was raised, you know, Guatemalan and really listening to like other type of music. But I always had a love for hip hop. Like my first concert was in 1988.
What was that?
I was 8 years old, and I asked my mom. My mom had a thing like, if you get straight A's or you do good in school, like I'll buy you something, right? So one year, because I was already like in the break, I told her I wanted to go to a Run DMC and Beastie Boys concert.
Oh, was it in Long Beach?
No, it was in Irvine Meadows.
Oh shit, okay. Oh, she had to love you to drive there. That's quite a drive, dog.
That was my first concert, man. I was 8 years old. I seen a spaceship come down from the top of the arena, and it came to the stage, and a door opened with smoke and lasers, and Run DMC came out with the and I said, you know what?
That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Damn, man. That's dope, dog. That's dope. Shout out to your mom for taking you, man. Who knew that, you know, years later, you still be doing it, man.
Hip-hop is not dead. It can't die.
Man, look at this. This ain't dead. This is real. This is about as live as it gets.
Passion. Everything revolves around hip-hop. Hip-hop is not dead.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Bronx, King Shorty Rock. What up, dude?
What's good? What's good?
Man, can't complain, man. Appreciate you joining the show, dude.
100% my pleasure, man.
Yes.
I think even that.
Most def. I definitely dig your grind, and we're going to give everybody an idea of your businesses. I know you got a lot going on. We're going to get to that, you know, towards the end of the program, but what I would really like to do is go all the way back and just get to know you, and then we're going to lead into some current topics in the YouTube streets that I would love your opinion on, and then, like I said, we'll give you a chance to promote everything, but let's take it all the way back, man. Let's go to the beginning of Shorty Rock. Tell everybody where you grew up.
Okay, well, actually, I grew up in the Bronx, New York, the north part of the Bronx, a place called Co-op City. It's pretty crazy. It's a wild and crazy place, you know what I'm saying? But definitely Co-op City. If you're familiar with the Bronx, Co-op City Section 4.
Okay. Now, we've heard throughout music, especially, you know, going back to the advent of hip hop, we know about the South Bronx. Everybody here is South Bronx, but we don't know, you know,
right,
too much about the North Bronx. Can you break down, you know, what the North Bronx is like specifically when you were coming up, and maybe some differences between the South Bronx and the North Bronx?
Okay, so a lot of people don't realize that there's a major difference between the North and South Bronx. You know what I'm saying? And one of the major differences is the South Bronx, although it does have a lot of black people there, it's mostly a lot of Hispanics that live in the South Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Also, with the South Bronx, to me, you know what I'm saying, and no disrespect to the South Bronx, you know what I'm saying, or the people there, but I feel like it's a little bit more grimier in the South Bronx. You know what I'm saying? The South Bronx is a little bit more of the more dangerous section, you know what I'm saying? If that's even a thing, you know what I'm saying? And the North Bronx has a lot of Caribbean community, a lot of people from the islands, the large Jewish community in the North Bronx. And to me, the North Bronx is a little nicer. When I say a little nicer, it's still a Bronx. So it's still craziness going around, you know, either way. But I would say the North Bronx is a little bit nicer than the South Bronx. You know what I'm saying? Still a lot of gangs, a lot of gang violence. So when I was growing up in the North Bronx, to me, Co-op City was probably the nicest area of the Bronx. Like, it's the place where it has a large Jewish community there. It's a lot of, beautiful areas. And a lot of times people came to my neighborhood to do shopping at a place called Bay Plaza. Now, with that in mind, just keep in mind that growing up there, you know, it was definitely gang infested. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of funny to contrast the North and the South by me saying that the North was nicer, but both the Bronx was crazy. So growing up, I lived in Section 4. Every neighborhood in Co-op City, because Co-op City is basically like a city inside of a city, but think of like it's a huge housing community. It's not the projects, but it's a huge housing community. It has about 25,000 people that live in this community inside Co-op City. And then Co-op City is broken up into 5 different sections. So I lived in Section 4, but each section when I was growing up had its own gang or collective of gangs. You know what I'm saying? So there was a gang in Section 1, there was a gang in Section 2. Back then, we didn't really call it gangs. You know what I'm saying? We was calling it crews. But, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. You know what I'm saying? A group of dudes stealing, robbing, jumping people, fighting, you know, battling over territory. You know, then you got the aspect of like drugs. You know, some crews selling drugs, some crews not selling drugs. And but each section had its own crew / gang. And I was a part of the crew in Section 4. And each section, not only did it have its own crews and gangs, but it also had subdivisions of its own of those gangs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So like in Section 4 where I lived at, we had a crew that was comprised of like the younger dudes that were probably in like maybe like junior high school. Then we had another faction that was like the older dudes, which was like in high school, and then the older dudes after that, which was like everybody outside of high school. You know what I'm saying? It comprised of one big crew, but each one had a different name and had its different identity too. But we were still one big crew. So I would imagine all the other sections were kind of like that too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they broke it up into like 4 different crews like we did, but and then even in Section 4, there was another crew. They used to call themselves the Dark Side. I remember that. That was like the people who wasn't a part of our team, but they was like the outsiders. You know what I'm saying? But they were still all in the same neighborhood. They all represented Section 4. And I think even at one point we all came together. Just because they were kind of being outsiders. But, yeah, man, I mean, I feel like my story is very similar to a lot of kids in the inner cities across America, but just growing up where it's like, you know, a lot of peer pressure, you know, it's either you fight on the streets or you become food to the people who are vicious animals sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you either join somebody or you're going to get ate up by the packs of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
so,
facts.
You know, after a while of me fighting by myself, I realized, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to need some help. So, I joined. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's slow it down because I know your story is interesting. And not only that, the section of North Bronx. A shout out to, I got a couple friends out in North Bronx, man. Shout out to my dude OG Steve representing Allerton Ave to be exact. And shout out to Preacher Bishop out there doing some great stuff for the community as well. A fight broke out at a Long Beach cruise terminal. A group of niggas ended up getting into a scrap. Right there, right before they were about to get on the boat, man. Flip-flops everywhere. And I'm patiently waiting for Trump to start deporting niggas. Niggas ruin everything. Some people think that only white folks, Caucasians don't like niggas. Nope. Black folk can't stand niggas. We are tired of it because these guys that decided to have this little fist fight at the Long Beach cruise terminal make all black folk look bad. They make us look like we're all that, and we are not. There is a difference between a nigga and a black man. I don't have black fatigue. If anything, I need more black in my life. Pause. If anything, I need more black culture in my life. I'll tell you what I do have, and that what most of America has. I have nigga fatigue. I'm tired of niggas. And there is a difference. And if you don't know there is a difference, then you are probably a nigga, or you are a person who just doesn't like black folk. But yes, got to be proud of our city, my city of Long Beach, man. And these, they were probably from somewhere, who knows where they were from, but they were definitely niggas. See, it's sad because you could read a news story and then off top you'd be like, damn, that's some nigga shit. That ain't no Asian. That's some niggas. It's really sad, man. But they were getting ready to hop on the Carnival cruise, most likely. I'm going to put my bottom dollar. And this is why Carnival Cruise had to change their policies. We talked about that a few weeks ago, and a lot of people were up in arms. Oh, my God, they're targeting black folk. No, they're targeting niggas. They are not targeting black folk. They are targeting niggas. Because niggas think it's okay to smoke blunts on the Carnival Cruise line in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Niggas think it's okay to drink 40 ounces on a Carnival Cruise. Niggas think it's okay to do where them fans at in groups of 30 and 40. And stomping and all that shit by the pool. Nobody wants to see that shit. They want to go on a goddamn Carnival Cruise and enjoy themselves, not hear some niggas recite Return of the Mac and then just stomping, and everyone has their own personal Bluetooth. And so yes, America, there is a difference between black folks and niggas. And America doesn't have black fatigue. They have nigga fatigue. But what do you think? Comment down below. Am I tripping? I would love to know your thoughts. If this is your first time joining the channel, you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button.
believe me. Tell me I got lost my charm. Bike's coming, guys. Da 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 da. I was smoking on that gas. Life should be on Cinemax. Want my bitch bigger tits and a bigger ass. I ain't smoking on that gas. Life should be on Cinemax. Movie. Bought my boo bigger tits and a bigger ass. Who he? That.